We're talking news of the week today, and we are the Boomer Broads. I'm Janet, she's Anne-Marie, and she is asking the weekly question. Who cares? Who cares, Anne-Marie?
I mean, there's quite a lot to care about.
Well, and you know, as I've told you repeatedly, I care about quite a bit. I'm a caring person, despite what you think, because you think I'm a callous person, don't you?
I think you're a who cares kind of person. Like, do I really care? And by the way,
and that's just maybe when you bring things up.
I'm not feeling very well.
Oh,
this week.
and I care. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, you're not. Oh,
I'm so sorry.
For emphasis, a little phlegm for emphasis. Nicely
You
done.
have to be detailed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, so stories of the week.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I'm ready.
Do you care about the mosque?
I do.
Situation.
I do
in
care
New
about
York?
it. And in true Libra,
Tell me why.
I'll tell you. Thank you for asking. As you know, I'm a Libra, so I have very difficult time making decisions, and I, waver back and forth. And this is one I really waver on, because one side of me says, of course, it's time to forgive and try to move on. And this would be so symbolic of that whole thing. Let us move on. The other side of me says, you know what? Manhattan's a big island, baby. Couldn't you put it somewhere else? It's like, come on. Must you put it right in the face of all of the families who have to live with this tragedy?
Have you read?
So in true Libran fashion, I have no answer for that.
Have you read as to why they chose this location?
No, tell me.
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I'm asking.
Oh, I was looking to you for sage
for
advice.
guidance?
Yes, of course, because you read and you know
27 years ago, that was your mistake.
That's exactly true.
And you still haven't learned, huh?
So no, I don't. Possibly because they are saying let us move on. But again, I don't know the answer. What do you feel, Anne-Marie?
I'll be honest with you. I don't.
Please be honest. Always.
I'm torn as well. On this one.
On the same.
I'm torn as well.
The same way.
Yeah, to some extent, I really feel like if it's freedom, it's it's constitutional.
Like
it's
Obama
built
said
into
the first
our
time.
culture.
Until he changed his mind.
It's built into our culture that we are supposed to be tolerant.
Right.
And if we don't let them, if we stop it, aren't we succumbing to the same type of prejudice that we witnessed from them, that we experienced from them?
Yes, but that doesn't make us still want to have it.
Makes us human,
right? I mean, it still hurts.
I know. I don't.
It
know what?
Still hurts.
I don't know.
But I guess if
excuse me,
phlegmatic. I'm
Are
sorry.
you going to say that every single time?
Yes, I am. Who cares?
Stop it!
I won't say it that time. That's just ridiculous. But I do think that Obama.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I announced it out of cold. I'm sorry.
Right, you have to emphasize it like this.
You do the show by yourself.
Okay. Don't ask me twice.
And by the way, she'd be lost without me.
Oh, I know.
Lost
without
me.
My other thing on this whole mosque situation is I wish Obama had stuck to his guns and stopped. No more flip-flopping. I don't like presidential flip-flopping.
I know.
So the whole thing is messy, and it doesn't make me happy, but I think it's going to be built. Because I think if New York City had wanted it not to be built,
Mayor Bloomberg, Mayor
Right.
Bloomberg is a big proponent.
Right, so if he had not wanted it, it would not have been built, but he wants it, and it'll be built.
So, I mean, and it's the right wing that's opposing it, and so that's the other thing that bothers me is I don't want to join them.
Right. Well, I'm sure the families of the victims are also, and they're not right-wing.
No, but some of the families of the victims are saying, let's move on.
Okay,
also.
that's good.
So,
excuse me.
but we are approaching, now, sweaty and phlegmy.
I'm not phlegmy, I'm just sweaty. Oh, this is going nowhere fast. I hate when we fight.
The righty bloggers.
The righty bloggers.
The righty bloggers.
The right-wing bloggers?
The right-wing bloggers.
Yes.
Picked their 25 worst Americans.
Oh, I hope I'm one of them. I'm sure I am.
You didn't make the list.
Oh,
You'll
damn.
be shocked to hear.
Again.
You haven't come to their attention for some crazy reason.
I don't know.
Jimmy Carter's number one.
Number one?
Number one.
Why?
Because they hated him.
No, that's not good enough.
They said he was too...
The peanuts? Was it the peanuts that got... Jimmy was...
He was too democratic. He was too
left. Democratic?
And Barack Obama's number 2, and FDR is number 3.
What?
The Rosenbergs are number 4.
The Rosenbergs from the World War II?
And for number 5, Woodrow Wilson and Benedict Arnold have tied. I think these people, excuse me for saying it, I hope there are none in our audience.
What site is this from? Did Beth find this? Did Beth find this?
Yeah, Beth found this.
What site is it from? Newser? Gawker?
I don't know. Maybe
YoMama? YoMama.com?
It's Newser.
Newser. Let's find Newser.
Yeah. And Jane Fonda, Timothy McVeigh, all the rest, and Michael Moore, you know, the usual.
I do not get Jimmy Carter. I get Jimmy Carter being on a list of 25, maybe,
He
but
did
number
a lot.
one?
Yeah, number one.
Jeez.
Okay, so here's an interesting. I thought this was interesting. Getting defensive is good for men, but not women. Because
I get very defensive.
yeah, it's not good for you. Bad for your heart. Raises your blood pressure.
Oh, I have high blood pressure. Although I have drastically low blood pressure,
you?
but I know I'm very stressed.
That must be
and
all
I'm
the drugs.
anxiety ridden. Well, the Xanax helps bring blood pressure down. I should. Oh,
Consider it.
Your cough is really rising
sorry.
my
I know,
pressure.
it's very sorry. Very sorry.
Very sorry.
Before we get into this one.
So that was it for that one. Defensiveness.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Move on.
Well, they say, you know, it's good for men. It gets rid of their stress. It's a stress reliever, but women hold on to the stress.
We hold everything, don't we?
Yeah. Anyway, you're still holding some that you've been ticked at me about for many, many years. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to talk Red Sox just for a moment or two.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay. I
friends.
love to talk Red Sox.
Kevin Youkilis and Enza.
Oh,
That's very
good
sad.
golly. How's that possible for those of you who are not Boston residents, since I know many of you are, but many of you aren't. Kevin Youkilis, our star first baseman for the Boston Red Sox, who is injured, was married to a...
Does this bother you in any way?
Are you? You bother me. Who cares? I care when she does that. I care when she touches me. Don't touch me. Back to Kevin Youkilis. Anyway, he was married, we think, to a woman who ran his foundation. They were all, it was a big Boston society couple. They were in the paper
Turns out
all
they
the
weren't
time.
married.
They weren't even married, and now they're not together. Woo-hoo, big news in Boston. I know you're yawning out there in Cleveland, but it was big news in Boston.
How about Dustin Pedroia?
Coming back. Woo, Petey. Dustin Pedroia,
Happy
for those
birthday,
of you
by
who
the way.
don't know, is the second
Petey.
baseman for the Red Sox, and he's been injured, and we welcome him back. He's a spark plug, and we love him.
Tax-free weekend.
Yes, what about it?
We had just had ours. What'd you get? Anything?
No, well, I'm not much of a shopper. You can take away taxes, you can 50% me off, and I still am not going to a store.
Not impressed.
I am not a shopper, as you know full well.
Well, it's one of them. I particularly.
Well,
I,
you
for
are.
one,
You are a shopper.
I do care, and I bought a big TV, flat screen TV. Saved $50 or so.
Such a
Very,
scam.
very happy about it. Thank you very much.
Don't you think that's silly that you ran all that way for $50? Don't you feel foolish?
I was going to buy it anyway, so you know,
Okay.
that's how I bought it for $50
All right.
less. Thank you very much.
And then how did all of that go? Was it?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to talk about next.
Oh,
Customer service.
not
Actually,
good.
that experience was very good, but I had some doozies. But we segue into doozies, and I think this is a big who cares, and I think actually our fans
Agreed.
responded tremendously.
Yeah.
Tremendously, and I say to those who responded and said that they were giving up, that they Hal, stick with it, Hal. Don't give up. They win if they give up. Steven Slater really is what touched it off. Steven Slater.
Steven Slater, that
I
crazy
do
beer
not-
drinking sly
I
dog.
do not agree with what he did. I happen to be somebody who disagrees with what he did. I think it was risky and dangerous, but he did touch a chord, didn't
But
he?
it's pretty fascinating what he has exactly touched in America
Yes.
in terms of our aggravation with both customers and with
Yeah,
poor
we
customer
can be allowed, and
service.
I am definitely not an easy customer.
I call you the customer service Nazi. You cannot go to a restaurant with Anne-Marie Eigner without hearing her say, "I'd like to speak to your manager." And I want to speak to your manager right
All I
now.
ask for is good service. Is that so much to
Your
ask?
definition of good service is you're a tough customer, but you know what? And I've said this
Yeah.
about you: when you get
I'm
good
fair.
service, you are the first person to call the president of that company and tout that 20-year-old whatever waitress.
Check out my
or-
blog, by the way. Check out my
On the
comments on
boomerbroads.com.
theboomerbroads.com because I blogged this week about it, and I feel very strongly. I took on Target, I took on Toyota. Damn them. But I had a great experience with a little sweet little Aileen, the waitress at our local Friendlies.
You remember her name?
Aileen, sure. And I called her boss over and I said, give that girl a raise. Because she deserved it. in my opinion.
Customer service is a lost art. We all know it. It doesn't exist anymore. There's no
I'm
pride of ownership.
I'm going to help you, though, with it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to give you 8 rules for good customer service.
Oh, I love when you give me rules.
You've been dying to know?
Well, I live by rules, so let's hear them.
Here you go, companies.
Companies.
Answer your phone.
Hey, there's an idea.
There's a concept.
Like a human?
Like a person.
Woo.
Answer your phone.
That's a good one.
Don't make promises unless you will keep them. Listen to your customers. There's another remarkable concept. Deal with complaints. Don't just ignore them. Especially nowadays. I mean, I'm now online with my blog.
Yelping
and blogging, and that goes out to other people. It's not just me. I'm not just one customer. Be helpful even if there's no immediate profit in it, which is exactly what ticked me off at Target. Her answer was no. I'm like, well, can you try? No. I'm like, no, I cannot try.
And then you said, well, then I'm going to go to Best Buy. And she said, whatever.
Right. Okay.
That's customer service at its best.
Whatever. She said, okay. Okay. Bye-bye. Train your staff if you have any. And always, always be helpful, courteous, and knowledgeable.
Steven Slater, hello. You're not listening.
Take the extra step. God, and throw in something extra.
Again, and I think those are all great, but I have to say, also as customers, we need to be a little more respectful. I am sure whatever drove Steven Slater to the brink must have been pretty ugly. Whatever happened to him in that plane.
You still, there's no excuse for launching something that you're not supposed to launch. You can't open a chute and jump down the chute.
Well, that was, I guess, a little extreme. I'm not going to argue with you, and it was probably pretty risky. But it did land him a reality show, and as I've said...
Well, I don't know that for sure. That's what he says.
I think he's gotten one, but it also makes me think... You remember when there was that great wedding video of the bride and groom dancing down the aisle?
Yes,
and that bred other wedding videos? I really do think we are going to see creative quitting left and right now.
That's a good show.
And I think that's what Steven is going to
fans
start.
To send in their
creative quitting
fantasies.
Ideas.
Send in your fantasies.
We're way over time.
I know that. We're going a little longer because now YouTube is allowing us to, and so we're...
I would say we're going
taking
longer
advantage
by
of it.
Popular demand, but that would not be true. But all the same.
Ask would you send us your fantasies about quitting? If you could take the job and shove it, how would you do it? Would you let us know?
I like that.
Have a great week. Only one show this week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.